The Savage Hawkman #7, written by Tony S. Daniel and James Bonney, art by Cliff Richards. We left off last issue with the dead coming back to life and making their way across the Brooklyn Bridge because of Gentleman Ghost's Mortis Orb. This issue picks up same exact thing. Hawkman is on the Brooklyn Bridge and he is fighting against hordes of zombies. We have a TV reporter who's providing the dialogue, whereas all of the internal monologue is from Hawkman, just basically saying, hey, here's what happened over the past 2 issues in case you haven't been paying attention. So, pretty brief scene overall. He's just going around. Anytime a zombie gets too close to a person, he comes at it and it's just like either drops it into the river or knocks it away with his mace. But the TV camera crew gets some pretty good glimpses at it, and he's flying through the air like some sort of eagle or falcon man. So anyway, he's like seeing this entire horde of the dead, and he's like, all right, let's do this. And then as soon as he does, a giant electrical storm comes out of New York and just zaps all the zombies and drops them all re-dead. So he's like, oh, all right, cool. I'm going to go check out what that was then. And so he flies off over to the center of the city, and he, surprise crossover, finds Static Shock, who also is now based in New York. And he's like, hey, kid, so was that you on the thing? And he's like, oh, hey, cool wings. Is he some kind of Hawkman? And he's like, yeah, good guess. So, yeah, him and Static are just talking for a little bit, and they're like, all right, you got any idea what's going on, Hawkman? He's like, yeah, there's a crazy ghost who's trying to come back to life with a thing called a magic Mortis Orb, which I helped bring back into existence, and he's going to kill a whole bunch of people. And Static's only reply is, damn. So, basically, they're zapping zombies left and right until they realize, okay, these group of zombies are heading west, those groups of zombies are heading east, so they would naturally converge at Central Park. So that's where the Mortis Orb's got to be. So they head over to Central Park and they find where Gentleman Ghost is. Static's holding back the zombies so Hawkman can be the star of the book. And as he approaches Gentleman Ghost, he of course summons like those weird phantom things that were able to hurt him before, whereas he couldn't land a shot. But Hawkman's like, but I've learned. See, their weapons are solid, so therefore I need to focus on the weapons. Ha, so smart. So he fights the weapons for a bit until finally he gets sick of it and then tries elbowing one in the chest, except this time it works. So he doesn't know why it's working, but he's just like, whatever, I'm just going to go ahead and start actually slashing them. So he starts slashing these phantoms and taking them all out. And as he approaches Gentleman Ghost, he's like, I'm sorry, you haven't even seen a fraction of my power, and with this Mortis Orb, I'm even more so. For instance, behold. And he gets zapped with this, like, magic bolt from the orb. And Static's like, you doing all right up there? And he's like, yeah, I'm good, don't worry about it. So, finally, it's Gentleman Ghost's destiny time. He starts draining all the life from the area. Hawkman's out of time. But as he starts to do so, the Warlock, Julian Gates, the dude who originally had the Mortis Orb and locked it away, he's back somehow, and he grabs Gentleman Ghost and pulls him into like the dead zone, like just a portal behind him. And before they go, Hawkman pulls the Mortis Orb and goes yoink, and then Gentleman Ghost and him go away along with all the other dead people. So then Static's like, hey, all right, looks like you did it. So what are you going to do with the Mortis Orb? He's like, well, I can't turn it off, so I'm just going to put it somewhere far, far away from life. So he goes to Antarctica, he finds a big chasm, and he just drops it in there. He's like, hope that doesn't come back to bite me later. Anyway, he goes back home to the Bronx. He passes by Emma and Singh, who are just chilling out, waiting for him to come back. And Singh shows him the TV where the TV crew is showing Hawkman. And they're like, dude, check this guy out. And Hawkman's like, damn it, now I got publicity. So then we see him sitting on top of the Empire State Building in his Hawkman form. And he's like, maybe I just needed this. Maybe I just needed some peace and quiet. I've definitely seen my fair share of dead bodies recently. And then all of a sudden he's attacked by Blast from the Past, I guess. It's the assistant to the dude from like 3 issues ago, Askana. And she's just like, show me what you got, Hawkman. Sure. It's never too soon to bring back old characters. Okay. I don't know how I wanted them to end this. Like genuinely, I don't like whatever. Okay, so the zombie thing, I like the team up with Static because it just felt like a, they don't even know each other. They don't have to like each other, but they both are on the same side, so they're like, "Cool, let's just make a team here and then, we'll go our separate ways, whatever." Like we don't ever have to talk again. I like that. That felt like a really cool like team dynamic just in sense of yeah, no, like we're both New York-based superheroes. We're just going to run into each other occasionally and there's no harm in working together. I like that. But when it comes down to how like the zombies were basically just there so like there's always some sort of threat. And then when they finally got to Gentleman Ghost, Hawkman didn't even beat him. Like Hawkman lost. It was just because the Warlock put an extra layer of security so that he'd come back and take whoever's trying to use the orb again. That's it. That's the only... Hawkman did nothing here. So it doesn't really feel like a big win. It just kind of feels like, okay, that kind of happened around Hawkman and he activated the orb, but that's it. He was just an inciting incident. Like everything else just kind of happened. So I don't know. It just felt kind of weird in that sense. Not bad per se, but just weird. And as for the ending reveal of like, Ascana is back. Okay. Is that the route we already want to go down? Like, if you have something big for her planned, I guess. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's a good idea to just be like, yeah, we've already run out of stories to tell, so we're going back to that one we just did. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Savage Hawkman a 6.5. And most of that comes down to I really like the way they did both Hawkman and Static in this issue. Primarily Static because I've only ever seen him in Teen Titans, which is not a great art style, and his own book, which is doubly not a great art style. Well, okay, it's a fine art style for what it is, but it doesn't have this same sort of like really art feel to it. So it's cool to see him like taken seriously almost. The other two are very cartoony. This one is very real and serious. So I really like the way that looks. So yeah, Hawkman, 6.5. I guess we'll see what Ascana's up to next time.